Hi, I'm Chad Van Dixhoorn, a professor of church history, and I'm here to give you a whistle-stop tour of church history over the next few lectures. I suppose the first thing to ask is why study church history at all? A bunch of reasons. There are crassly utilitarian reasons, like the course you're taking requires you to pass church history. But of course, that presumes that there's some other reason for the utility of church history. One of those reasons, and I think an important one, is just cultural literacy. We need to know something about the world in which we live, and we need to know something about Christian history, in part because many people don't know history, and many of the comments, accusations, arguments against Christianity presume different historical scenarios, some of which are correct, many of which are not. And you need to know church history well enough to be able to respond to that in a useful apologetic way. That'll be useful for you, whether you're serving as a pastor, as a counselor. You want to be able to diffuse or respond to or confess different parts of our church history. I think it's also important to know church history because it's our family history. And this is the way in which the Lord has walked us through the ages. And so we need to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that, again, is helpful for us as Christian people to kind of know our own story. When people don't know where they've come from, they often forget where they're supposed to be going. Church history is also important, and this could sound like megalomania, but it's a great way of putting all the pieces together in a curriculum. When you're talking about church history, you're talking about the history of ideas, the history of theology, you're talking about the history of exegesis, the history of pastoral practice. All kinds of things come together when you're studying church history. So at the risk of making this exercise seem way too grand, I think it's really important to help bring together different components of your experience here at Westminster using church history.